Hi everybody, it's Thursday, it's Lit Soc. We're back after a bit of a break, and we are almost at the end of term, 24 hours away, unbelievably. Where has the time gone? Snow, rain again, the pathetic fallacy's doing best outside there, but we're going to be cheerful and think about spring reads and reading for the holidays. So I'm going to kick off because I'm going to Florence, so I've already seen A Room with a View, the film, but I might well take this with me as well as Still Life by Sarah Winman, if anybody's read that.
For my holiday.
Yeah. Which has inspired me to go to Florence, so when I take Forrester with me, A Room with a View, I will also take Still Life. And this is about Lucy and George and what happens to them. And Forster had been to Florence and wrote this comic novel, Love That Almost Goes Awry but Doesn't Quite. Do you know this, anybody? Ever seen the film? Really?
It's got Helena Bonham Carter in it.
Helena Bonham Carter in it. It was on a couple of weeks ago, streaming because of the Oscars, which did very well. It's got a fabulous British cast. And it's about English people visiting Rome and their reaction with the Italians and the difference in feelings and how a chance meeting can lead to changing of a life completely. So that's what I shall be taking to Florence. I'm going to talk about my other one a bit later. Miss Rio, do you want to start after me?
Shall I?
Yeah, come and swap.
So, I mean, I put Jane Austen on the table just as a general, everyone, all of the books. They are good spring reads to me. They just kind of evoke that, like, countryside feeling, I don't know, like, they're always sort of in these big country houses or having picnics or, like, excursions, I don't know, just something about it. I always turn to it. March, April, I always find myself rereading them and rewatching the films. So I probably will end up reading some of them over the Easter holidays. But yeah, I'm not going anywhere over Easter. Okay. Springtime, I'm going to Greece. But I am getting married over Easter.
Oh, yeah, of course,
so Jane Austen is what you need to read. if you want to kind of feel romantic and all those nice things, I think that's perfect for me. So yeah, I need to find something Grecian to read. Maybe like Circe or something, or, some mythology. Yeah. Which I suppose those not some of it's too sad. I think Greek mythology is quite springtime, maybe a bit more summery.
Well, perhaps that's a bit sad.
Yeah, I think anything with a springtime read, anything that's set around nature for me. Kind of in gardens and outside, so that's what I picked Jane Austen because they always seem to be outside.
Well, her own house in Chawton has a lovely garden, and then there's the house that Edward Hawke had. It was amazing grounds. So yes, it's really good. And is it Pride and Prejudice your favourite or?
Probably, but I really like Persuasion at the moment. Is anyone? Yeah. I hadn't really ever clicked with it very much, but maybe I was too young. But as I've got older, I've started to really like Persuasion. I don't know. I think it's so romantic, the whole storyline of like unrequited. You know, it's just
second chances.
It's a really nice one. But yeah, maybe it's one.
Ghastly father in literature.
He's awful. He is awful. Yeah. But I like that there's parts of it where it's set in the seaside as well, which is quite nice. You don't see that a lot. I mean, you see that a bit in Sense and Sensibility, I suppose, but that's quite nice to me. Yeah.
Has anybody been to Lyme Regis?
It's so nice.
Stunning harbour called the Cobb. Then there's a connection with Mary Anning of fossils, Chevalier's book.
You can go fossil hunting there. You can book like excursions and go on the beach and they like find fossils. It's really cool.
It's a lovely, lovely spot. It's the cliffs and the Jurassic coast, isn't it?
Yeah, I love it there. So yeah, Persuasion probably is mine. I do like Emma, but not as much. I don't know. I have to be in the right mood for Emma. It's quite silly. I don't know. That's the way I describe it. Like, but sometimes. So I don't know. That was more summary to me.
I do like the
don't know
BBC
why.
version with
Poetry.
Not with Gwyneth Paltrow.
Oh, it's from the 90s, isn't it?
Yes.
Sorry, let me just-
Johnny Lee Miller is Mr. Knight.
Oh, yeah.
I like that one a lot.
And the new movie was pretty good.
The new movie's my favourite movie.
It was good.
So
Yeah.
good.
I liked it for the fashion, definitely. They made a real effort with that. It was so bright and colourful. It was fun.
Have you seen the Persuasion movie?
Yeah, we don't really need to talk about that one.
Universally disliked. Even more disliked the Mansfield Park. Which was sort of a travesty
That's
as
a bit
well.
boring, yeah.
Yeah.
I did quite like the Persuasion movie once I let myself like it. If I just pretended it was something else completely, I didn't mind it. But when I attached it to all the original story, I was like, oh. But yeah, I don't know.
And what about
tricky
Brad
one.
Bush's versions? Which one would you like?
Yeah,
Do you
which
like
one?
that?
Which one do you like?
This is such a heated debate.
Oh, what are we gonna do? I like them both. One's a TV show, one's a movie. It's
Yeah.
different.
But which one do you like the best?
I have the most nostalgia for probably the movie, because I was a teenager when that came out and I remember going to see it.
We're about to have
No,
this
but
then.
no, the thing is, one of my
I like
friends-
both of them
There are
though.
some very good bits in the movie.
Yeah.
There
And the
really
music
are.
is so lovely.
Yeah.
The music is
There are
so
some
lovely.
also very
One
strange
of my
editings.
friends absolutely refuses to watch the movie, whatever. She
But
hasn't
the
even
movie's
read. She hasn't
better
even
than
read
TV
the book.
show.
And I keep on saying that they each have their own places. Like, if I want to just immerse myself in Pride and Prejudice, I don't really want to watch 8 hours of it. I can just have 2 hours. Fun.
Yeah.
Lovely. And then she absolutely refuses to admit that the movie has any credit whatsoever, despite the fact that
Yeah. Oh. They're different. Just see them differently.
Exactly.
Don't compare
Yeah,
them.
they're very
They
different.
fulfill different things.
I think Donald Sutherland's portrayal of Mr. Bennett is brilliant.
Yeah,
The
I
way
yeah.
that
I think he's good.
Because he did so much research and thought about it. And, I mean, not that Benjamin Woodrow isn't good, but it's very different.
They're all good.
Yeah.
Recently, I watched. I don't know if you remember this, but Lost in Austen. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
In the
remember
2000s?
that, yeah.
They
My
added
mum
it
made me
into
watch that.
ITV.
Yeah.
I love this. I remember watching it as a teenager when it came out. It's really fun. You should watch it. It's
really funny.
it's so
very
cheesy. A girl basically gets put. It's kind of like Outlander, I guess. She gets put into Pride and Prejudice.
Yeah, they swap, don't they?
Yeah,
He
she
and
swaps.
swap. Through
Yeah.
the bathroom of all
Through
places.
yeah, it's
I
quite
saw,
fun.
Pride and Prejudice-ish. What was it called? Pride and
Oh,
my God, did you
Pride
see
and
that?
Prejudice.
It was so
Yeah, I saw it at the
good.
Richmond Theatre, I think a couple of weeks ago. It was
I was
super
meant to
fun.
go and see it, and I didn't get around to it. Was it good?
Yeah, it was
so
really good.
good.
It got off to a bit of a slow start, but then once you kind of let yourself get into it, it was really funny. And they had a really amazing Welsh lady playing Lizzie Bennet.
I know. I
She was
loved her
Was
so
she?
much. She was so funny. And then in the initial ballroom scene, when Mr. Darcy first comes in, she was singing "You're So Vain."
So
Yeah.
it's basically a cast of 5 women playing
Yeah.
all of the characters.
Very
That's good.
fun.
And
Hilarious.
it's funny, and they've got lots of musical numbers. And it's kind of sweet as well, but mostly funny.
Oh, I need to see if they're doing it anywhere else. Is it a bit like that one with the audience rights?
Ostentatious.
Ostentatious,
It's
yeah.
not that. I was at the Edinburgh Fringe when it was on, but I could not get tickets. It
Oh,
was really
it's
upsetting.
really it's
No, the
fun.
audience don't really interact, but it's
Okay.
Oh, actually, they do it for I think one moment, but yeah, it's really good. I would recommend. It's touring, so I
Okay.
think it will come back to London.
Hopefully, because I missed it and I was like, no.
Austen
Yeah.
spin-offs are just a myriad. They're just all
I love
over
them.
the place.
There's
Their
so
input
much,
is
yeah.
just amazing.
So much you can do.
Pride and Prejudice.
Oh,
The
Bride
Bride
and
and
Prejudice.
Prejudice,
Oh,
yes.
that's
Yeah.
old school. Yeah.
That was good.
Gosh.
That was good.
Some Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. It was
Oh,
awful.
I read the book of that.
It was so bad. I thought it was going to be funny, and it wasn't even
It
funny.
wasn't.
It was bad.
It took itself too seriously, didn't it? If you're going to do that, you do
It
it,
had a
make
lot
it
of
silly.
backstory. It was like, no, just put this on.
Just-
Just put the zombies.
It's
in.
a zombie movie. Just
Yeah.
make it
And
silly.
it had all the stuff about them going to Asia to train as like ninjas or whatever. It was just a bit weird.
They did a whole book series of that. Do you remember those?
Yes.
They
yeah.
did like Sense and Sensibility and Sea Monsters. Was it Sea Monsters?
No, I didn't.
It was really weird. They did a whole series of them.
I got Lily James to be Lizzie Bennet. Like, come on, like, do better.
Yeah.
I'm so good.
Poor
I
Lily
forgot
James.
about.
What's she ever done to you?
I know. I like Lily
opinions,
James.
guys. I have opinions.
Not about Lily James. Well,
so an Austen fest. Then,
Yeah, basically that's always what I
and
do. It's
Then some seeking out some Greek stuff.
yeah, probably. It's always my Easter is just
But
Jane
Captain
Austen.
Corelli's Magdalene is a beautiful story.
Okay.
You've never read it.
No, I
is-
don't.
It's deeply romantic. Goes on a little bit too long, but
Okay.
it is amazing about Cephalonia. And,
Maybe I'll take it with me,
Collection
travel
edition.
with it.
Yeah.
Bless you.
Right.
Who wants to go
Right,
next?
Marianne. Gonna go
Marianne,
next?
yeah.
Yes.
You've got one, haven't you?
Or about, something else.
So I have this book that I read recently called
Oh,
Diary
that's
Young
fabulous.
Naturalist.
Oh, yes.
And it's about this. It's a series of diary entries throughout the year, written by this guy Dara McCulty, who is like a budding activist, and it kind of follows him through his life. And honestly, the language that he uses, because it's written when he's like in year 9 as well, and the language that he uses is incredible.
Yeah.
And the way that he describes like his experiences and the different things that he goes through as well, it's so good, and I absolutely adored it. And the reason I picked it for the spring reads, because it's got that connection to nature really, and also he spends a lot of time outside, a lot of time exploring and learning about the natural world. But yeah, I really loved it, and it took me a while to get through it because I was reading it through exams, so I was just kind of all over the place then. But it's such a good book, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone.
Was it? Do you find it helpful for sort of stress? Because he finds that's where he goes to. Nature is his sort of healing bath, as it were.
Yeah, I think I do, because I also do that. Like every Sunday, I make myself go out on a walk just to kind of like refocus myself.
Yeah.
But it's definitely something that I would relate to as well, because it's kind of, oh, that sounds so nice, you know, living in rural Ireland where you can see hen harriers and whatever.
Yeah, and he's now at Cambridge and doing really well there.
Is he?
Yes.
Is he? Yeah, that makes sense,
I
actually.
think he's in his first year still.
I think he's in his first year.
First
He's
year.
like
He's
19 or 20, right?
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
a bit young.
Um,
Don't know. Since time.
Yes, he's not changed because of his fame, and he's been feted by sort of David Attenborough and lots of other, you know, Chris Packham, and it's so lovely for him. It really is, in a really good way, because he is a fabulous writer.
Yeah. And it is such a like a heartwarming story to kind of, because you got that period at the start where he's very happy and he's living his best life, and then he moves and that kind of uproots everything, and then he settles back in, and it's kind of you know, that deep sigh of relief.
Oh, that's lovely. I'm glad you got it.
Yeah.
It's a really. It was. Did it come out just after lockdown, during lockdown? Anyway,
It was quite close.
Quite close,
Yeah.
yeah. So he certainly was. It was not easy to promote it, but it did sell really well.
Yeah, we've got his other book here. I think he's done a kids.
Oh yeah, the
picture.
wild.
Yeah, I haven't read that one yet. It looks nice.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, that's great.
Very much.
It's really
Nature.
recommended. Yeah, nature.
Nature. Always out on excursions.
Yeah, it's nice to see all the blossoms out together. It's amazing. You know, even stuff that should have been out literally a couple of months ago is blooming now, which is a bit weird, but anyway. So yeah, it's nice.
Climate change.
And our daffodils are finally coming out on the riverbank, so that's nice too. Yeah, but you'd think it would be. This is what's weird. You'd think they'd have been earlier, the camellias.
Yeah.
They're not. They're out now, whereas they should have been out in January. So not sure what's going on there. Anyway.
Well, at least we get to enjoy them now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. With all
Not
the
dead.
magnolias and everything, it's lovely. Yeah. Thank you, Marianne. That was really lovely choice. Thank you. Lulu, do you want to go next?
Yeah, sure.
Great.
Okay, so as my life's getting a bit busier, I think the best thing for me to read at the moment is poetry. Yeah, because it speaks to soul. It's quite short, which is good, but it's really succinct, impactful stuff that still has an effect on you, but it's not you don't have to commit to it. And what I've been really enjoying recently, I think probably as a result, if you do A-level English, that means you annotate a lot of poetry. So it kind of gets into a habit. So I've been annotating this, and I've been kind of doing it like instead of going on my phone during my revision breaks, because it's kind of it keeps you focused, but it's enjoyable, and it means you don't scroll on TikTok for 3 hours, which is what I did.
Yeah.
Before. But yeah, so this one I got given for Christmas, and it's called Falling Awake by Alice Oswald, and it's a couple years old now, so I think it's from 2015, but it's about mutability, which is interesting because it says mutability on the cover, but that's also a title of another poetry collection by Joe Shapcott, also called Mutability, so I thought it was interesting. But it's about how all mortality is, you always have to face your mortality, and that nothing lives in the end.
All flesh is grass.
Yeah, which sounds depressing, but it's actually interesting, because I was speaking to Mr. Johnston about it yesterday, and he was like, "Oh, that sounds depressing." I was like, "It's not that bad." It's also got a lot of classical referencing. So my favourite poem so far is "Severed Head Floating Down River," which is about Orpheus.
Orpheus, yes.
Yeah.
The Orpheus legend. Oh, well, right up your street.
Yeah, exactly. And so basically, Orpheus was.
Hi, Mariam. Have a great Easter.
Orpheus was torn to pieces by Maenads, which you also learn if you do A-level classics. But and they tore his head off, and he went floating down the river.
Probably on behalf of his wife.
Yeah, because have you guys seen Hadestown? Yeah.
I've listened to it.
Slay. It's like.
Apparently it's coming.
Yeah, it's coming back to England.
2024.
But yeah, Hadestown is about Orpheus and his wife Eurydice. Eurydice goes down to the underworld. In myth, she gets bitten by a snake. In the musical, she just says, "All right," and goes down. But Orpheus goes down to get her back, and Hades says, "All right, yeah, you can have her back if you can lead her to the exit of the underworld and not look back to check if she's still there. So you have to prove you can trust me." Of course, being a man, he does look back, and he loses Eurydice forever. And after this, he has many other lovers, but then eventually gets torn to pieces. But yeah, tangent. But I like this poem because obviously it's about a severed head floating down a river, but the structure is like something floating down a river, which I really enjoyed.
He's still singing, isn't he, when he's floating down the river? Yeah.
And it's got really interesting structure. Like he keeps repeating himself, and I just think it's like something slowly running out of battery. Oh sure, yeah.
I do.
I've lost
Is it World Poetry Day today, or was that yesterday?
It was on
Tuesday.
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yeah, so yesterday.
Yesterday.
Guys, read my poem on Twitter.
Yeah, read our poem on Twitter. Yeah.
Yeah. So severed head floating down river. Eurydice, already forgetting who she is, with her shoes missing and the grass coming up through her feet, searching the earth for the bracelet of tiny weave on her charcoal wrist, the name of a fly or flower, already forgetting who they are. They grow, till their bodies break their necks. Down there in the stone world, where the grey spirits of stones lie around uncertain of their limits, matter is eating my mind. I am in a river, I in my fox cap floating between the speechless reeds. I always wake like this, being watched, always forgetting who I am. The water wears my mask, lying under its lashes like a glance. I call. If only a child on a bridge would hoik me out. There comes a tremor and there comes a pause. Down there in the underworld where the tired stones have fallen and the sand in a trance lifts a little, it is always midnight in those pools. I and insects engraved in sleep. I always wake like this, being watched. I always speak to myself, no more myself but a colander, draining the sound from this never-to-be-mentioned wound. Can you hear it? You with your long shadows and your short shadows, can you hear the severed head of Orpheus? No, I feel nothing from the neck down, already forgetting who I am. The crime goes on without volition, singing in its bone. Not I, the water drinks my mind, as if in a black suit, as if bent to my books, only my face exists sliding over a waterfall. And there where the ferns hang over the dark and the midges move between mirrors, some woman has left her shoes, two crumpled mouths, which my voice searches in and out, my voice being water, which holds me together and also carries me away, until the facts forget themselves gradually like a contrail, and all this week a lime-green light troubles the riverbed, as if the mud was haunted by the wood. This is how the wind works hard at thinking. This is what speaks when no one speaks. But yeah, it's cute. So I will keep reading this. It's quite a chunky poetry anthology, but yeah. Would recommend.
She's good poet. She really is. Yeah. Lots of. She's got a real theme of nature, a bit like Kathleen Jamie as well, the Macca. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you. Right. Anybody else got something for springtime read? Josie? Yeah.
I'm going to talk about Anne of Green Gables.
Oh yes. Fabulous. Great choice.
I think of when I think of the book, I remember my mum reading to me, and I really remember relating then and also relating now to just having a big imagination and sometimes being a bit judged for that, but it all, like, being nice. Things might go wrong, but like, you mean well.
Yeah.
Which happens quite a lot for Anne.
Yeah, it does.
But it's just, I think, because she spends a lot of time in nature and admiring it, and also, and it's in quite a rural area where, like, she has to walk through, like, the forest to get to school every day, and I don't know what about exactly it is. I think it's also like a new beginning. She gets adopted when it's almost a mistake, but it's a happy mistake, and she gets to go into a new place. I really associate it with spring, even if it's not always set in spring. There's definitely a theme of new beginnings.
New life, is it? New beginning. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. She's a great character, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Have you read any of the others?
I think I read the book, the sequel to this book, but I'm not sure where the other ones went. I was trying to look before to read them, but I'm not sure where they've gone.
The whole series, and then Anne Montgomery did another series as well. She was very prolific, but I expect, like Louise Ram Alcott, that was her only income, and she had to make the most of it. I don't know how much it's autobiographical. But she's such a memorable character.
Have you watched the TV show?
Oh, the new one.
The new one, isn't there?
I really liked that. Yeah.
It's amazing.
The visuals, I feel like they got it perfect. It
Yeah.
just feels like calming when you watch it. It's just so
calming,
nice.
and it feels almost like warm with her.
Yeah.
Yeah, and her guardians are lovely people as well, aren't they? Marilla is quite strict, but she's got a lovely heart, a really good heart. Yeah.
I like Cuthbert. Is it the dad's name is Cuthbert?
I think that's Matthew Cuthbert.
Matthew
Cuthbert's their son.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Matthew's my bae. I love him.
He's fantastic, and I think it's so nice how he's like becomes almost a father figure for Anne.
Yeah.
Which is really nice.
Yeah. And then there's Gilbert.
Yeah.
Who's something else again.
I just don't like Gilbert.
No,
I don't like
no.
Laurie and Lit Women. I'll get it all out of the way.
Any man in a
Any
book about
man.
women.
In real life.
Yeah.
I think I shared a thing of disliking Laurie.
Laurie's insufferable.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I understand that. It's sort of got a similar vibe to like Secret Garden and all those
Yeah.
kinds of books.
Yes.
Like they kind of fit into this little niche. Don't know what to describe them as, but like cute nature books. I don't know.
Yeah, it's something in the 19th century zeitgeist, isn't it? I mean, Hodgson Burnett having connections with America and Britain, and then of course it's set partly in India as well, and Anne of Green Gables being set in Canada. Yeah, it's a similar sort of.
It's like a sort of childhood whimsy.
Well, feel good as well. There's something, there's
Like
but
Railway
there is
Children, all of those
yeah,
ones.
there
they
is
kind of
this
have a little-
element of sort of healing nature when you think that the cities were, pretty ghastly to be living in, noisy, filthy,
Smog.
Places for jobs and things, but at Yorkshire and Prince Edward Island are very special. So yeah.
Good choice.
Anybody else? Wrap. Sienna, you got something?
So I don't have anything specific.
I couldn't really think of something that I usually read in spring. I thought maybe around this time of year is when I end up getting into new things.
Mm-hmm.
I got into Harry Potter at this time of year, or got into it. I started reading Percy Jackson after my friend was very insistent on making me, and I proceeded to finish the first 2 whole book series before summer. So within like a term, I just read them all.
So you found something new for this moment? Is there anything new that you've picked up, or?
Right now, no. But on TikTok,
Somebody recommended something.
someone wrote a poetry collection, and this is someone who I've been following for like a little while now. She's very versed in fandom culture and online literature, and she wrote a poetry collection that released like this month, and I really want to buy it, but I haven't yet.
Right.
But I plan to get it as soon as I can, and some of her poems are spoken aloud in her videos, and she just has a way of speaking that's very profound and almost like lyrical quality to the way that she articulates herself, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah. And her name? Can you remember?
Like the usernames, or
Well,
she goes by a few.
all right. Is she who is she publishing under? Can you remember?
I don't actually know.
Okay.
I would check, but I don't know how to check. I can check on my school iPad quickly.
Go on then.
But it's the book. The poetry collection is called Lazarus Rising, and
Right.
it's amongst other things, and it's about like grief and love and hope, persevering, and it's really good.
Okay. So it's got some references to Sylvia Plath, I think. Lady Lazarus. Yeah.
And supernatural.
Yeah. Sounds interesting. Yeah.
It's her name is
Mhm.
I can't read backwards.
Icarus Pendragon.
Why is it
Berkeley.
No.
Berkeley.
Berkeley Novak-Stoll.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Intriguing. Thank you.
Poetry anthologies will be your new
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
No,
And
poetry's
also-
good for short moments, isn't it?
I used to read Black Beauty quite a lot around this
Oh,
time.
yeah, that fits into the same
Yeah.
thing for me as all those other books.
Yeah. It just had a quality of watching, like, reading Black Beauty and just going through the whole life and how everything kind of ties in. And it's just, I think the imagery is so vivid and the descriptions are, it's so unique in that it's just experiencing the world in an entirely different way. And obviously it's set in a different time as well. But it's just, you get such a feel of the world building and everything. It's really good.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
19th century women writers were fabulous.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sienna.
Has anyone been seeing all the Hunger Games things?
Yes.
Yeah.
That is also what a new book.
Yeah, it's a new book and a new film that's coming out in November, but everyone's got really back into it. It seems.
It
I
is-
have.
Yeah,
right now.
I think that happens, doesn't it? Something will
Yeah,
come and
there's-
everyone will kind of go, ooh, actually, I really
there are
liked
loads
that.
of edits like everywhere
Oh,
right
really?
now. People are talking about it. It's having a resurgence, like very much so.
It happens. It happened with Twilight when the new one came out, didn't it?
Yeah.
I just got back into it. It's like, it reminds you about how much you liked it the first time. You go rebirth.
Yeah, absolutely.
Things starting again.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. Yeah. Right.
Everybody, I think.
I think that's. Shall we do a wrap up?
Dragonfly Pool has the same quality as the ones we've been talking about.
That's
Yeah.
why I put it on the table. Yeah.
Yes, Dragonfly Pool, Eva Ibbotson. Always good for a good comfort read.
My sister gave me a birthday cake
Yeah, this is
when I was like 9.
a mixture of things, isn't it? Boarding school, war, a prince, a ski. She is she's very good on her stories and the way she imagines worlds. It's fabulous. Yeah. Yeah. It's based on a school she went to many years ago. Yeah. And amazing biology lessons. Yes, she is good on. Biology does come into her books quite a lot. Thinking about it.
Yeah. Her books are kind of nature.
Yes. Yeah. I remember when I met her a while ago, asking. You always put marshes in, and they're always really depressing. Do you know why? She said, "No, I'd never thought about it, but she does, all the time." So, well, year 11, you'll be revising, won't you, madly? So it'll be Of Mice and Men, and To Kill a Mockingbird, and Macbeth, and Inspector Calls, of which there are myriad versions out there, aren't there? So we hope that you don't get too bored. But at least there are different versions all over the web to keep you interested. But this is something that's come in, Lady Macbethford, which I've heard Val McDermott talk about as well. And this is a historical novel, which we are lucky enough to have, which came out this year, and is all about the real Queen of Scotland, whose name was Gruach, because of course the Macbeth and Gruach in Macbeth by Shakespeare is a complete travesty. It's awful. The politics is right, but the characters are much maligned, and there's been several historical novels about Macbeth, about the king, but not about her. And this will hopefully return the balance. Although she will be queen, whatever it takes is perhaps not as, perhaps more Lady Macbeth than the queen herself. Anyway, so yes, so I think that will be a good read. That long ago, 11th century, when the Vikings were rampaging across the north, and Scotland was at civil war, and England wasn't much better. So prior to the invasion of the Normans. Yeah, so we miss you all. We wish you all the best for your holiday. Get a good rest, all of you, and as well as doing what you need to do. So we'll be thinking of you and marking essays, some of us, so that you can benefit from that anyway. So I think we'll say enjoy your reading, whatever it is, and come back and tell us about it when you come, when we return. So goodbye everybody for 3 whole weeks. So, and yeah, absolutely. Just look back at our videos anyway. We'll say goodbye.